you. Welcome back. I'm so happy to have you here today with me. I've been noticing so many new people coming and finding out about our bone broth ritual, which makes me so happy because it means that you are taking care of your body and doing things that really feed and nourish your soul. And that to me is so incredibly amazing. I'm so proud of you for taking care of your body and taking ownership of the things that you can do, especially at home, in your own kitchen, making your own broth, knowing exactly what's going into it. So I'm just so happy that you guys are starting to discover the channel and see how we make these rituals really a simple habit that you can just keep and something that is just really nourishing for your soul. It's been really interesting to me because I've been on this bone broth kick for a few years now, and so many people are starting to wake up to just like what bone broth really could do for your body, and it's so incredible how much it's been spreading. So I'm just so happy that you guys are seeing these things and actually putting them into your life. So thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Today we're going to be making our bone broth that we always go back to. It's just one of those recipes for me that really just does something. I'm going to be roasting the vegetables. This just does incredible things to the flavor of your broth. If you want something that's deep and really rich, this is it. I also am going to be adding some turmeric. I love anything to benefit and really enhance our broth, and turmeric is an anti-inflammatory that just does wonderful things. I will be adding some onions today, so Fig and Kai are not going to be able to have this one, but husband really liked the taste of the last one that I did with some onion. If you know your way around the kitchen, you know that onion just gives that like flavor, you know, kind of like the soupy flavor. It really does something for the flavor, and we notice it when we don't do onion. So we're gonna be doing onion today, and half of me is like kind of sad for Fig because she just loves bone broth so much, and she loves eating the vegetables too. We always mash it up for her and give it to her, so she knows when I'm cooking in the kitchen bone broth, she's gonna be getting some. So sad for her, but you know what? Taste sometimes does matter. And then I'm gonna keep it super simple with some celery and carrots. I like to chop these up and throw them also to roast all together. Again, deep, rich flavor is really what you're gonna get with these things. I'm gonna walk you through step by step how to do it. For our protein today, we're gonna be doing some chicken backs and chicken feet. Now this is typically what I do weekly. You can switch it up. You can do beef if you like. Now it's really up to you and what you're looking for your broth. I like to keep things more simple. Kenny and I drink this first thing in the morning, so I don't want something that's too heavy, but I want something that's light enough but has some flavor. To me, something that tastes like chicken broth or chicken soup really does it. It just makes me feel so nourished and taken care of, so I prefer chicken. Chicken backs, chicken feet, it gives you such a good balance between minerals and collagen, so this ratio for me has really been it. Gonna roast everything, walk you through step by step exactly how I do this. So let's go and get started. Okay, so I have all my ingredients out here. So again, a yellow onion, carrots, celery, and then I have my protein here, my chicken feet and my chicken back. Now I got a very small bag of chicken feet. I typically like to get about 2 pounds, but for some reason lately, every farmer's market that we have gone to have been sold out of chicken feet. So we got the last bag and it was only at 0.75. So we're gonna just deal and work with what we got. And then I got a little heavier chicken back. So typically I like to do 1 or 2 pounds of chicken back, but we did 1.72, so this should be fine for today's batch. Now I'm gonna go ahead and wash my veggies. I'm gonna cut them up so that they fit in our tray here. Have 2 trays ready to go, but I think I can actually fit everything in 1 tray. Preheated my oven to 400, and then I'm gonna just toss everything here chopped up and throw it in the oven for about 40 minutes. So let's get to this. I'll walk you through it as I go as well. Now I'm just gonna cut open my chicken back and throw it in just as is. The way it comes, you kind of have to split them open. And then same thing with my chicken feet. Chicken toenails have been very controversial on social media, and I completely get it. I mean, they do look kind of gnarly, right? but they're actually full of minerals, so they're really nice if you don't get grossed out by them. They do have such great nutritious value, so I choose to keep it in. It really does not bother me, but if you are grossed out, totally okay. You can just go ahead and give this a chop and throw it out. Now, again, doesn't bother me. In some cultures, it's more custom to have them removed, but they're actually really good for you. So I don't mind. They're gonna get roasted. If you're afraid that they're dirty or anything like that, these are all pre-washed by our local farmers market where we pick this up from, but feel free to give it a wash. In Brazil, it's very normal for us to also wash our meats with some lemon juice just to get rid of any additional bacteria, but feel free to give it a wash. To me, don't mind. This is kind of the point where roasting comes in handy. Roasting our protein and vegetables first kind of kills all the bacteria, gets rid of the gunk. So this step is kind of to really give it a rinse as well. I'm gonna put these right on top of our meat here. Okay, just washed my celery, so I'm just gonna give it a chop. I'm not gonna use the full batch because we ended up getting a pretty big celery batch. So I took about half of it, washed it, cut the butts and the head off, and now I'm just gonna chop it so it fits in our dish. Into the cooking tray these go. Same thing with our carrots. Now, I'm not gonna use all of it, just took like a pretty good sized 4. Just gonna chop these and fit them into our tray as well. Look at how pretty, at all those colors. I love anything with colors. Beautiful. In the oven, they go for 40 minutes. Ooh, before I forget, let's drizzle some oil. Almost forgot that. All right, look at that. All oiled up with some olive oil and ready to be roasted. All right, you guys, it's been a little over an hour. Let's take out our roasted veggies and meat. Oh my goodness, it smells so good in our home right now. Look at that. How gorgeous. Do you hear that sizzling? Amazing. Oh my God, this smells so good. Our veggies are roasted. It smells absolutely delicious. And now I took out my largest pot, and I love this pot so much for several reasons. One being it is so big, but also it comes with this kind of like an interior strainer, so it just makes my job so much easier, avoids burns. It's just so easy to handle when you want to strain everything after your bone broth cooks in here. So if you have something like this, that would be really an awesome pot to work with. But if you don't, totally okay, you don't need it. But this is what's going to happen now. We're going to transfer our roasted vegetable and protein into a large pot, and then we're going to fill this with water and some apple cider vinegar, and then this is where we build our flavor. So if you like to add herbs, spices, salt, pepper, anything that you want to add, you can do it now. You can also wait until after it's done to season it. So let's go ahead and build everything together. I'll walk you through exactly the seasonings that I'm going to be adding to our broth this week. Transfer this here, add some water. Let's do it. Take a look at this. Our pot is full of gunk. Do you see that? So that is something that's going to come off of the chicken. Now you'll see here, it's also all so oily. So it's a good step if you don't like your broth to be super heavy with fat. This is going to get rid of a lot of that fat. So if you like yours a little bit more, go ahead and just throw it in. You certainly do not have to roast it, but again, the depth of the flavor changes when you roast it. So if I were you, I would roast it. Now I'm filling this up with water all the way to the top until everything is covered. So you'll see here that I filled it just enough that it's covering all of our ingredients, but not all the way to the brim of my pot. Now we're gonna put this back on the stove, build the season, add some apple cider vinegar, and hit this low and slow. Now I set aside my flavor builders. Number one important detail is always add apple cider vinegar to your broth. Now, some people like to soak your protein in the apple cider vinegar prior. You could do either or. I personally think that if you add it to your broth while it's here, kind of sitting before it starts to go on the, before we turn on the stove, it's going to have a similar effect. Now, the real goal here is that this is going to help extract the minerals from the bones and cartilages. Apple cider vinegar, key ingredient. And then everything else I like to keep real simple. Turmeric for its anti-inflammatory properties, some black pepper to activate the turmeric, and then just some salt for flavoring. And this is where you can really get kind of funky with it. So if you want to add a bay leaf, if you want to add rosemary, this is really where you can do it. Get creative with it or keep it simple. It's really up to you. This is your broth. All right, let's go in with some apple cider vinegar. I really just eyeball this, but you'll see that I put quite a bit in here. I would say about 3 tablespoons or so. Some turmeric. Generous amount. Some black pepper. And then some salt to taste. Give this a good mix. And now we're going to bring this to a gentle boil, and then we're going to turn it down. And so it's controlled simmering, low and slow. Look how pretty our broth looks. I just turned on the stove to high. Now, once this starts boiling, I'm going to turn it down so that it goes back to a slow simmer, and then we're gonna let it cook for a few hours. Now, 12 hours minimum, 24 hours is your goal. Really up to you here. So now we're just gonna leave this, and I'll check back in about 20 minutes or so, or until I have a nice strong boil. And I'll show you guys too. All right, it's been about 20 minutes. We have a very strong boiling going on. So I have turned down the temperature to about a high, medium, low, medium, high, medium, low. I don't really have like a good radar to kind of show you guys, but this is where I have it, about on a 3, like a little bit below 3. And then I'm just gonna leave this here and just refill the water as it evaporates out. So I have my handy dandy water refiller here, just on the side, easy access to refill this. Now you see that it's already starting to go down. And now we're just gonna look for a controlled simmer and leave it here for the next 24 hours. All right, you guys, it's been about 24 hours. So our broth is so ready. I'm gonna show you guys how I go about straining it and just preparing it and storing it. I think it's super important to understand how to store your bone broth correctly. The way I personally like to do it is strain it, put it into mason jars, and then I leave it on my counter to completely cool before I put it in the fridge. Now, I like to leave it in the fridge overnight before I freeze the remaining. I love to drink this first thing in the morning. So for me, a mason jar that's kind of already preset for you to easily pour. Let me show you guys how it's looking now. Our home smells so delicious, and I think that's one of my favorite parts of making bone broth the previous day and letting it cook overnight, is that in the morning, your home smells like chicken noodle soup, and it's absolutely so comforting and divine. Love it. Let me show you guys, and let's get to storing it. And here's the neat part of this pot. I just pull the top part, and all of our ingredients in the pot stay here, and it gets automatically strained. However, I do like to take a second strain approach, because as you'll see, there are still little particles that are in the broth that I want to just make sure that we filter out when we put it in our mason jar storage. And just like that, we are done with our bone broth. We have 4 full mason jars worth. This is gonna last us about 2 weeks. We're going to leave one in the fridge and then freeze the rest. And it's really that simple. I hope you guys learned something from today. Bone broth is one of those superfoods that are so deeply nourishing, and having it first thing in the morning, you are waking up your gut. You're also doing incredible things for your skin health. So I hope you guys take this, make it your own, and let me know in the comments if you guys do. It's such an easy thing to do. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, follow, share. The more people doing this and taking ownership of their health, the better. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll see you next week.